Going to call to order the Monday, June 21st, 2021 regular meeting of the Gardner City Council. The clerk will please call the roll.
Council Boone. Council Boudreaux.
Present.
Council Craig Collier.
Present.
Council Ronald Collier.
Present.
Council General Roberts.
Present.
Council Bates.
Present.
Council Gardner.
Present.
Council Knapp.
Present.
Council Tyrus.
Present.
Council Walsh.
Present.
President Kaczynskis.
Present. Please rise to recite the opening prayer and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Almighty
My God,
we
we thank Thee for bringing us together this evening. Inspire us for worthy deeds and sound decisions, and direct us toward the attainment of good government. We pray Thee to bless and protect all the people of our city, and to show guidance and progress, that we may live liberated in unity and harmony. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is anyone recording the meeting this evening? We'll begin with the reading and approval of the minutes of the May 17th, 2021 regular meeting. Is there a motion on the floor?
Madam President, I make a motion that we waive the reading of the minutes and approve them as presented. Second motion.
Motion made by Councilor Ron Cormier, seconded by Councilor Walsh to waive the reading of the minutes of the meetings and accept them as printed. Is there discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. There are no public hearings. Communications from the mayor, orders. Just a reminder, any type of money order does need a roll call vote, so there will be roll call votes on the next two items. Item number 10475, an order appropriating $22,754 from free cash to capital project Bullnose Park improvements account. Report from the Finance Committee.
Yes, this is a project recommended by the mayor to use the balance of free cash before the end of the fiscal year, or to appropriate it. The project involves three new poles in Cheer City Park, that used to be known as Bullnose Park, out in front of the old Worcester County National Bank. And to the cost for it, there's some photos that give some suggestion of how it might look. The cost for it is estimated based upon the cost for the Polish American veterans poles that were installed recently in the landscaping that was done in that area associated with that pole. The other money is to construct and place planters throughout the downtown area, 12 in total, the mayor indicated, at various locations to beautify the downtown area beyond what it is currently. We've similar to what we've done with other planters in other parts of the area, the city, such as the Uptown Rotary, the Rotary at on Timpani Boulevard, and other locations. This will be an opportunity for civic engagement by community, by businesses in the areas where we offer the opportunity to sponsor the box and to maintain it through the course of the year. The mayor was enthusiastic about it. Finance Committee was favorable to it, and moved the order.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Walsh, seconded by Councilor Ron Cormier to approve an order appropriating $22,754 from free cash to capital project Bullnose Park improvement account. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, we need a
Roll call vote.
roll call on this one.
The clerk will please call roll.
Council Boone. Council Boudreaux.
Yes.
Council Craig Collier.
Yes.
Council Ronald Collier.
Yes.
Council General Roberts.
Yes.
Council Bates.
Yes.
Council Gardner.
Yes.
Council Knapp.
Yes.
Yes.
Council Walsh.
Yes.
President Hughes.
Yes. Motion carries. Item 10476, an order appropriating $8,545 from free cash to building department minor equipment account. Report from the finance committee.
Yes, this is a multifunction machine that is being proposed for purchase to replace a machine that was used in the building department that was damaged as a result of flooding back in 2018. There was an effort to not replace it for a period of time and utilize the machine in the main office of the building department, but that became problematic because of increases in the use of online permitting that has been utilized. This is, as I mentioned, a multifunction machine, printing, scanning, fax, other functions as well that customary for that type of thing. It'll also be integrated with the software that the building department uses for its comprehensive online permitting process, and will be well utilized by the gas, plumbing, and electrical inspectors. So the Finance Committee was favorable to the order and recommended by majority vote to recommend passage of the order.
Second.
And I move it.
Motion made by Councilor Walsh, seconded by Councilor Ron Cormier to approve an order appropriating $8,545 from free cash to building department minor equipment account. Is there discussion on the motion? The clerk will please call the roll.
Council Boudreaux.
Yes.
Council Craig Cormier.
Yes.
Council Ron Cormier.
Yes.
Council Denalowitz.
Yes.
Council Grace.
Yes.
Council Gardner.
Yes.
Council Knapp.
Yes.
Council Tyros.
Yes.
Council Walsh.
Yes.
President Hughes.
Yes. Motion passes. Petitions, applications, communications, etc. Item 10477, an application by Chair City Auto Sales, 144 Pearson Boulevard, for a license to buy and sell secondhand motor vehicles. Councilor Craig.
Yes, we have not had a chance to meet on this item, but I did review this with the chief of police and the city clerk. They are in good standing, both from a tax and public safety view. So if there's no objection, rather than make them wait on this application, I would move that the council approve this application.
Motion made by Councilor Craig Cormier, seconded by Councilor Tyros to approve an application by Chair City Auto Sales, 144 Pearson Boulevard, for a license to buy and sell secondhand motor vehicles, Class 2. Is there discussion on the motion? Councilor Graves?
Yeah, just want a clarification. Did the chairperson say that the Public Safety Committee did not meet on this?
We have
We
not.
have not met on this.
That's correct.
Okay, so I don't know if I can support this. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. This usually goes to the committees for study and report, and if that didn't happen, I'm not sure. So I guess I'll ask this question. Is there urgency or any kind of time restriction with respect to this particular license or application? Thank you, President Kaczynski. Through the chair.
Councilor Cormier?
I don't believe there's a huge time restriction, but since we hadn't had a chance to meet before this meeting, just for the benefit of the business, I did go through the channels that we usually do before we discuss it in a public safety meeting, which is checking with the chief, checking with the city clerk to make sure the business is in good standing, and it is an application for renewal. So if you wish to object, we can move to stay on this, but otherwise, if the rest of the councilors do not object, then I suggest we move it ahead.
Thank you, thank you.
You want to discuss, Councilor Graves? Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
Motion passes. Item 10478, an application by Gardner Tenpins Incorporated, 560 West Broadway, for a bowling alley license. Councilor Cormier?
This is a new application for renewal, so I will move that we refer this to the Public Safety Committee meeting.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
This is a new application for renewal since our last meeting, so I will move that this get referred to the Public Safety Committee.
Motion made by Councilor Kirkland to refer to Public Safety Committee, seconded by Councilor Tyros. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Reports of standing committees. Finance Committee, item number 10469, an ordinance to amend Code of the City of Gardner, Chapter 171 thereof, entitled Personnel, by amending Section 14, Holidays designated, Section 44, Compensation in lieu of paid holidays, and Section 60, Holidays with pay. This was in the City Council when referred to the Finance Committee. Report from the Finance Committee?
Report for the Finance Committee is that we're requesting more time. The mayor and the personnel director are formulating revised language for this proposed ordinance amendment that they hope to have for our next meeting, so the committee requests more time.
If there is no objection, that this committee will be granted more time. The committee will be granted more time. Public Service Committee, item 10472, an ordinance to amend the Code of the City of Gardner, Chapter 632, Section 3, entitled Sale of City-Owned Watershed Land. This was in City Council referred to the City Clerk and Councilor Boudreaux.
Thank you, Madam President. Sorry, Councilor Mack did make a point, and we'll reiterate that point because it does just clarify an additional piece that Councilor Graves did send to me last minute. But I had spoken about at our last regular meeting, the Public Service Committee received this item from Councilor Graves a few weeks ago, and after review and discussion and the removal of a certain part that would have had department heads making reports and opinions, we came to a final conclusion that we did agree that this would create a more streamlined and appropriate way to deal with city-owned watershed properties. It does not happen much, but if it does happen again in the foreseeable or long-term future, we will have a easier and streamlined way of dealing with it. I'm sure Councilor Graves will have more to say about that, but as it has been written and has been provided to us this evening by the city clerk, I make a motion that we send the item to its first reading and post in all ways that it must be posted in accordance with law. Thank you. So move we send it to its first reading.
Motion made by Councilor Boudreaux, seconded by Councilor Harden, to send an ordinance to amend the Code of the City of Gardner, Chapter 632, Section 3, entitled Sale of City-Owned Watershed Land, to its first printing. Is there discussion on the motion? Councilor Graves?
Thank you, President Kazaskis, and thank you, Councilor Boudreaux, for that. When we were dealing with that watershed property, having to do with Hayward Hospital wanting to expand their operations, we were agonizing over the definition of the word fee. We were agonizing over the extreme restrictions that are now provided by the ordinance as it stands right now, which is ordinance 632, section 3. Right now, we can't. So the ordinance right now says the city can't, under any circumstances, convey a fee interest in any watershed land. So that means you just can't do it, period. There's no exceptions whatsoever. So my proposal gives the city flexibility in that now the city can convey watershed property, but only if it's with the approval of the mayor, and I changed that also. I had added the mayor in there to comply with another ordinance, which I'll get to. So we can now, the handcuffs are off. If we want to now, if we come into another situation like Hayward Hospital was in, where they wanted to expand, we could now, with this new ordinance, with the amendment, do it as long as it's with the approval of the mayor and 2/3 vote of the city council. Now, I I thought 2/3 was a good idea because it's a lot harder to convey that property than obviously than a majority vote. And because it's watershed property, I think that gives the citizenry some protection in that, you know, each of the city councils will go like I did last time, and I'm sure others did, went to the Conservation Commission, went to the Health Director, went to the engineer. My questions were, is this safe? If the hospital expands here, is it safe for the watershed? So now it's gonna take 8 votes in order to convey that property. So we don't have to go back and figure out what we did in 1976, or we won't be asked to ratify something that didn't comply with the city ordinances, 30 years ago. And the reason why I put notwithstanding section ordinance 221-6 is because 221-6 is the ordinance that we have, which is good. It says, which is for the sale, alienation, or disposal of personal or real property. But that ordinance only requires a majority vote of the city council. So that's why I put notwithstanding that, this new amendment is going to be that it's still going to require the mayor's approval, obviously, but it's going to be 2/3. It's going to require 2/3 of the city council vote as opposed to majority. And I think, and I had sent Councilor Boudreau, for me, it was a short email because it was less than 10 pages, but what I said was, this new amendment does 3 things. It eliminates the ambiguity of what fee might mean in a given context or situation. 2, it gives the city an option it does not have right now by unlocking the handcuffs binding the city's hands regarding land within the watershed. And 3, at the same time, it provides an increased level of protection to the citizenry by requiring a 2/3 city council vote on something as critical as a citizen's drinking water. So that was my idea on this one, and thank you. That's all I have.
Councilor Graves, is there any further discussion? Councilor Walsh?
Yes, I appreciate Councilor Graves' efforts to address the issues that he raises as part of this. The fundamental question to me is, should we be conveying ownership of watershed property at all? I think we should not. But the fact that we can't sell it in full ownership of it doesn't mean that we can't give it other uses by way of lease, by way of license, by way of other methods of utilization of property that doesn't require transferring ownership of the property. My view is that we should retain ownership of property wherever it can be. In certain circumstances, if it's on the edge of a watershed, then we can redefine what constitutes watershed land. That certainly is within our ability to legislate. But I think my own view is that we should retain ownership of watershed land to ensure protection of the drinking water supply for the city of Gardner. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Walsh. Any further discussion? Councilor Graves?
Thank you, President Kaczynskis. And Councilor Walsh's points are well taken. And correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Councilor Walsh just voted on the hospital's expansion. I believe there was only one no vote on that one. I think I was the only no vote. So Councilor Walsh voted yes to lift all restrictions on the hospital's use of that watershed property, which in essence gives them carte blanche, fee simple interest in that property. So not too long ago, Councilor Walsh was in favor of granting, in essence, a complete, absolute fee simple interest in that property for all practical purposes to Hayward Hospital. But apart from that, the city council will have the option, and the mayor will have the option on a case-by-case basis. This doesn't sell any land. This doesn't sell any watershed land whatsoever. On a case-by-case basis, and somebody said it, Councilor Boudreau said, it doesn't happen that often when somebody wants land that's in the city watershed. But on the rare occasion that it does happen, we all get to sit here and weigh it out, analyze it, review it, look at the facts, consult with all our experts, all our department heads, and we can say no. We can say no. Instead of just Councilor Walsh has a good point. Maybe we just want a blanket, absolute, can't do it. But that didn't stop us from doing it I think it was 1976. And it won't stop us because of that statute that the hospital's attorney found the very 11th hour, found the statute that said that the city can't contest the title to the property because of the statute, as long as there was good faith on the part of the grantee, who was the hospital in that case. But anyways, I just think that what this does is it gives the city more flexibility, the mayor and the city council, to take it on a case-by-case basis and to say yes or no. Maybe it'll be no every single time, but maybe not. Thank you, President.
Any further discussion?
For the last time, and all of those things that we can do to review and analyze and consider are available to us to lease the property, to license the property, but not to give up ownership of it. Councilor Graves points out a particular circumstance. I believe that my vote stands for what it was, and not necessarily for what he describes it to be. But I think retention of ownership of watershed property is important, and I appreciate the council's efforts, but it seems more like a solution looking for a problem than an actual problem to be solved.
Thank you, Counselor. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
Can I get clarification on nays?
Show of
If you
hands.
voted no, show of hands.
No?
If you voted no, show of hands. Public Safety Committee, item number 10471, a communication from the Traffic Commission relative to Summer Street parking. Councilor Redcorn?
We have not had time to meet on this item, so I'd request more time, please.
There's no objection, the committee will be granted more time. Item number 14074. An application by Automart 182 West Street for a license to buy and sell secondhand motor vehicles, Class 2. Councilor Redcorn?
We voted on this earlier.
Oh, I'm sorry. We did vote on this item earlier.
No.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, this is actually a different application.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This one has already been, referred to Public Safety Committee.
Then I will ask for more time on this item, please.
There's no objection, we will be granted more time. Unfinished business and matters for reconsideration. Item number 10426, an ordinance to amend the code of the city of Gardner, chapter 675, section 530, entitled Development Overlay District 1 to add subsection H. The planning board did meet on this. We received a letter from the planning board, Mark Shaw, from the chairman, to myself, which is in the city council's packet this evening. They met on Tuesday, June 8th. They voted unanimously to recommend not approving the amendment to develop overlay district 1, and they felt they were not providing sufficient information to make a determination to support the amendment. At this time, the next part of the process is a joint public hearing needs to be scheduled with the planning board and the city council to the purpose of that joint public hearing. We move into new business. Councilor Gardner.
Nothing this week, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Boudreaux.
Nothing substantial this evening. I would like to thank you for your swift actions in getting us back as soon as the orders have been lifted. The room looks great, TVs look great, everyone looks happy and healthy. I'd also like to thank the mayor and the city for everything they did over the last year. It was a very long year for everybody, but the city of Gardner seems to have stuck together in handling it. So thank you and welcome back to you all.
Councilor Darrell Alex.
I think Councilor Boudreaux covered it very well, so nothing else this evening, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Graves.
Thank you, President Kazinskas. I have no new city council business. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Briggs. Councilor Mack?
Nothing this evening, Madam President.
Councilor Tyros?
No new city council business. Thank you, Madam President.
Councilor Craig Corner?
I have nothing this evening. Thank you, Madam President.
Councilor Walsh?
Yes, I'd just like to congratulate the president on the occasion of her first conduct of an in-person city council meeting here tonight on June 21st, 2021. Congratulations.
Councilor Ron Corner?
Meeting well done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor. I have no recent council business, other than I'm just really happy to see everybody here in person, and I'm glad that we were able to get here as soon as possible. I think the chamber looks great, and moving forward, we'll get back to normal as much as possible, and also to the mayor as well for the other council commissions, committees in the city being able to meet back in person and also continue to be recorded and posted on this YouTube channel. I think it's really helped out with the transparency, and Paul Keith in the IT department, I have to mention him as well. He's just done a fantastic job making sure that everything was as transparent as possible when we had to meet together but apart to continue the city council business, as well as GETV and their team broadcasting that out to the public to make sure that everyone who wanted to keep up with what was going on in the city, they did a fantastic job. It was some challenging circumstances, and it truly was an effort for all of us to work together. So with that, I will entertain a motion on the floor to adjourn after the closing prayer.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Boudreaux, seconded by Councilor General. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
My Father, who seest over all, as we adjourn, we thank thee for the opportunity of joint deliberation and action witnessed during the course of this meeting. Bless, O Lord, all who are gathered here, and the people's representatives we are, and to thou attend to our common welfare until our next meeting. Amen.